Yo, this thing's like super close on, guys. Let me fix it real quick. Let me focus. Oh, much better. But like how I mentioned on my last video, this is day 8 and I'm actually going to show you guys what else I'm selling. So let's get this video started. So this is what I'm actually selling, are HID lights and LED lights. And this is actually helping me with my 1K challenge as well. So I have another box that's has more LED and HID lights. That's like my small box, but I do have another box that's bigger. And let me just tell you guys a quick story how I got like all these LED and HID lights. So if you guys been like the OG subscribers, you guys know that I worked at an auto parts store, and the way I came across with all these LED and HID lights was actually one of my coworkers that was selling them at work. Like, it was crazy. So the story was, and I remember this day, a customer came in asking for my coworker, and he told me like, hey, is that person working today? And I was like, oh yeah, he's in the back. So I went to my coworker and I told him, hey, there's a customer here that's looking for you. He's like, oh, that guy wants to buy LED lights from me. So I was like, oh, you sell LED lights? He's like, yeah, I sell LED lights. So I overheard him and his customer talking, and he sold him low beams, high beams, and fog lights, and he was selling them $30 a pop. And if you wanted to install them, that was another $20. But I think he didn't install them that day, so the guy gave him $90 for all the three pairs of the LED lights. And he specifically told me, he's like, hey, if you want, I have to meet up with a customer, but I won't be able to make it. But if you want to do your first sale, here's the HIDs that he needs, and just meet up with them. So the next day I woke up because I was off and I was working part-time, and my coworker gave me his number, and he told them, hey, go ahead and text him, let him know what time he gets off of work or what time you guys are gonna be able to meet. So I messaged the customer, and he's like, oh, I can meet later in the afternoon. So I was like, all right, cool, I'm free all day. So for me, that's an easy $30. So I met up with the customer and I told him like, oh, here's the HID lights. And he's like, hey, do you know how to install them? I'm like, oh yeah, I know how to install them. So I went ahead and installed them, and the guy gave me $50. So I sold them to him for $30, and he gave me $50, which pretty much paid my gas to meet up with him, because he lived in like the high desert area. So I had $50 in my pocket, and me and my coworker worked the next day. Again, we were closing the store again, and he told me like, hey, did you make that sale? And I told him like, oh yeah, the gentleman gave me $50. He's like, oh really? He's like, why? And I told him like, oh, well, I sold it to him for $30, but he wanted me to install them, so he gave me $50 for installing them. And from there, he was like, you know what, if you want, use those $50 and buy more lights. So how I got that one sale to owning like 60 to 50 pairs of LED and HID lights, the way I started doing it was actually advertising it. And I told my friend if I can take a picture of like his whatever inventory he had. He's like, no dude, it's cool. If you want to have a bunch of lights in my truck, you could just take a picture of like all my boxes in my truck. So I was like, all right, cool. So remember, I had $50 with me doing that first sale. So I took a picture of his inventory, and I posted up on everything: Craigslist, OfferUp, 5 Mile, Facebook Marketplace was starting up. So I put it pretty much every selling app you can think of, and maybe within a week I was just getting a lot of people saying, hey, do you have these lights for this car? Do you have this light for this car? Do you have this light for this car? And the whole point was, yeah, I was telling them like, yeah, I do have them, like, when are you available? But I would tell them when they were available. That way I can get the lights online and then meet up with them at that specific day. So from that one sale, I went up to owning to 60 to 50 pairs of LED and HID lights. But the place that was actually making the most money was actually at my auto parts store, because a customer would come in and they'll be like, hey, one of my lights went out, do you have a replacement one? And they would just buy like the cheap X Vision light for like, I don't know, 10 or 15 bucks, the bulbs that were yellow. So I would tell them, I would tell the customer like, hey, I actually have LED and HID lights. If you want to upgrade, they're 40 bucks. I mean 30 bucks a pop. It's a pair, and they're like super bright. And what I did was actually I would take an old battery from the auto parts store, put it in the front, take like 2 alligator clips, put them on the LED or HID, and it would shine bright, and the customers would be like, oh man, they're like super bright. So I would tell them like, well, just let me know if you want them, that way I can keep them on the side, and I can actually install them for you for like 10 bucks more. And just let me know like beforehand when you come, that way I can have the lights ready. And if you want me to install them, this is my lunch time, or this is what time I get out. And I was getting a lot of people, like I was getting a lot of people at the auto parts store, like they kept mentioning my name, saying like, hey, is this person working? And of course my boss at work would be like, oh no, he's not working. So that's how I got my sales going, and it just kept going and going and going. So the reason why I stopped selling them was because my boss from the auto parts store called me into his office and told me that, hey, the district manager wants to talk to you. So in my head I was like, ah, dude, I think he knows that I'm selling like LED and HID lights. I probably got caught, probably someone ratted me out or something, I don't know. So I remember the district manager came to our store and he called me in and he wanted to talk, and he told me too, like he straight up told me like, I know what you're doing and you need to stop what you're doing, or we're gonna have to let you go. And at the time I was a full-time manager at the auto parts store, so for me that kind of like it got me scared, bro, pretty much. Like I have like a good position job. I was just promoted to a full-time manager, and now the district manager, I'm like giving myself a bad name pretty much. And the district manager told me like I have to stop what I'm doing, or they're gonna have to let me go. So that's pretty much the reason why I stopped selling them. And at that time I didn't know how to do stuff in eBay. I didn't know how to sell it in eBay. I was just doing local areas, and I kind of got tired of doing like local sales because driving, like meeting up with people, I necessarily didn't like doing that, because of course you don't know what that person has, or you don't know what that person can do to you. And that's why I stopped like meeting up with other customers. And now that I'm like doing this eBay challenge, I mean, I have all the lights. Now I'm just putting up on eBay and hoping that they're gonna sell. But I'm actually doing other stuff to sell it as well. The other thing that I'm doing to sell the LED lights is actually putting it up in social media. And I do have people that follow me through my social media letting me know if they have these certain lights for this certain vehicle. And of course I tell them like, yeah, I have the lights for your vehicle. If you want, I can, you know, provide you a tracking number, and all you have to do is pay me through PayPal or Venmo or whatever, and from there I can send out the items to my customers or my followers if they need them. But right now I'm actually trying to figure out how I can sell these lights, because I have a bunch of LED lights that I need to get rid of, and this is actually helping me reach to that 1K mark. So we can go like one by one. What I have, like I believe this is 9006. What else is this? 9006 bulbs. We also have some LED lights, and these are H13. You guys can see that, the little red dot right there, H13. What else we have? 9006 HIDs. H13 HIDs. These are the decoders. These are just, oh look, 9006 HIDs as well. So I just have a lot, and right now I'm just figuring out how I can sell them. I had to put my beanie on real quick because it's so cold in my room. But again, I'm gonna put my LED and HID lights on all the selling platforms like Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, 5 Mile, Offer, pretty much all the selling applications. I'm gonna go ahead and throw my LED and HID up for sale. I have experience selling them, so I already know how to like search up the car or what bulbs a car needs. And some of them can be tricky because some cars do need adapters, so I already know like all that, and it's just gonna help me more with this eBay 1K challenge. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and if you guys have any questions, comment down below. But I just want to show you guys what else I was selling on eBay or like on the side, that way I can reach my 1K goal. And I do have a list here that I want to buy and throw those parts on the 240, that way I can have more content of the 240, and hopefully I can reach that 1K goal, because it's gonna help me a lot. But I'll see you guys in day 9. Later, guys.